Susanna, you're clearly absolutely in charge of and successful with all the creative dimensions of this new venture that Liz Claiborne has with Pennies. And I've always, of course, been a huge fan of you and your whole creative direction. And when you think about Dior to Liz Claiborne, we go from very high-end to much more accessible, broader reach apparel. And what are the commonalities in those two worlds, and what are the differences?
I really feel that a good designer can design at all levels. And if you can put together the elements of whatever you're working on, I mean, in terms of Dior, you could be a little bit more outrageous. You had more options in trim. The fabrics were more expensive. It's a lot harder to do Liz Claiborne for JCPenney than to go into a studio and figure out what you want to do for the next season and not have to follow trend and thinking about what the consumer would want. Christian Dior is a totally different situation in terms of the customer base. It's a lot harder to do what you do at Liz Claiborne than go work for a high fashion company.
Well, I agree with you, and it's because there are more constraints placed on the problem that's being solved. And when there are more constraints, frankly, the more creative one needs to be. It's not a blank canvas.
Exactly.
And that brings to mind the corresponding business aspects of the challenges of being in this industry today. In what ways or how much do those business aspects affect you and what you do creatively?
We really have to look at the business. We have to be left and right-brained. We just can't decide to do something without a good reason to do it in terms of the business aspect, the planning, and how much merchandise is going on the floor and what sold well the season the year before. We really, as a design team, look at all those aspects and try to figure out what could be the new adaptation of things that really did well for the customer before. I feel that certain companies do that really well. And on my own, I've studied that, and I admire those companies and those designers for really understanding their customer, and also giving them a reason to come back and maybe search for those key pieces that they really loved the first time around.
How do you find inspiration?
I find inspiration everywhere. When I have time, I like to hit the museums and rent Fellini movies. I'm really also inspired by my friends because I have such a range of economic levels with my friends, age levels, and they now, since they know me, they go into JCPenney and they go check out the clothes and they come back and they're like, you know what? I bought a piece, thinking going into JCPenney wasn't their destination, but they went in because they knew that I was doing what I was doing.
They're loyal to you.
They're loyal to me, and when they come back, they're excited, and I'm like, oh, you know what? That's what's exciting to me. So I asked them, what was it that you really loved? And kind of picked their brains on what to do the next time around to try to get them to go back in.
I'm so glad that you mentioned the fact that you had your own business for 7 years, because I want to go back to your Parsons graduation, your landing in Paris, and I want you to take us forward along your career path.
A lot happened. I think my Paris experience really gave me the elevation in design and the education in terms of high fashion.
It was like graduate school.
It was. It really was. After I left Paris, I started my own company, and that was in California. So I went to San Diego for 4 years. I knew nobody really. I had a friend that invited me out there, and it was so amazing and so different than Paris that I thought, this is a good change.
Do you ever, God, I shouldn't even ask this question, because I want you here forever. Do you ever think about doing your own line again?
I think every designer, if you ask any designer that question, they would say, of course. That is a dream if you've had it and you stopped, and if you've never had it. I think everybody dreams about having their own line where they could do whatever they wanted to do. I'm really happy because I get to work with two big companies, Liz Claiborne and JCPenney. I'm allowed to get much more done than I would get done with my own line. I mean, I can affect so many more people's lives in terms of their pricing and the quality, and really trying to figure that out is super exciting.
It is exciting.
It's really great.
And what greater thrill is there than to walk down the street and to see someone wearing your own design?
We see so many people, it's not even funny.
It's
People
really
go on vacation and they bring
thrilling.
back photos from Disney World of like all these sightings of Liz Claiborne, Liz & Co. So it's really great. It's really an exciting place to be for me right now.